whole year of 2020, I was able to do 3 major releases, and the position I'm in with the space that I have is equally as entertaining to me. I had so much fun just maybe having a small number of people, or a lot of it collaborating over email, to where I was able to still make albums and make songs. And for the first time, being able to use songs as they were written, because a lot of the time, like even with my first album, I'd written the songs 3-4 years ago and they're just getting on an album, which isn't abnormal for me to just kind of stockpile the songs. But being able to essentially write a song and record it, the next day was very freeing, because it feels a lot more fresh that way. It hasn't been sitting around. So that, was very entertaining. But the live shows are always a fun environment. You get to see your friends, and you get that sense of community when everyone's there and watching the actual music. They're not talking to someone next to them or playing on their phone. They're like actually observing what's happening. So really connecting to the music is a complete escape. Finally at a point, I've been doing this about 7 years, to where I'm making somewhat of a revenue to where I could possibly even survive off it in a way. They're not the most glamorous shows, but they're still really fun. And then I do have good chances, like Pyramid Scheme and other bigger venues, that I will bring the whole band to, and that's always awesome. Getting the other people involved, because that's my favorite part, is the collaboration aspect. But the shows have been great, just being able to get out there. People are very receptive to just hearing live music again, and it's hopeful,
If I wrote a book, it's going to be, "It's Monday, hooray, I get to go to work." That's what's going to be the title of the book. I thoroughly just love weather. By the time I was in kindergarten, I would get up in front of my kindergarten class and talk about the weather. The first parent-teacher conference, my parents go in, Mrs. Pettinger's there, and Mrs. Pettinger says, "What is it with Billy and all the weather? He talks about the weather all the time." And my mother said, "Does anybody listen?" And she said, "Oh yeah, all the other kids listen to him." I remember I was in church, okay, and I'm 8 years old. I'm probably third grade, 8, 9 years old. And this massive thunderstorm was coming in, and I could see it coming when I was going into church, and I'm like, I gotta find a way to get out of here. But I excused myself, and I went out to watch the thunderstorm, and it was fantastic. By the time I was probably 11, I had visited a TV station to see what the weather anchor there did. I had visited a team of private meteorologists and the National Weather Service. And I had my plan all set. I'm going to get my degree in meteorology. Now, it's interesting because at the time, there were very few weathercasters on TV that actually had a degree in meteorology. They were just announcers. Pat Sajak started out doing weather. David Letterman started out doing weather. But I wanted to have that background where I knew what was going on. But I always knew that I would be happy being in a smaller or mid-market, that I didn't have to go to Chicago. And I applied for Tom Skilling's job, but at the time I had my hair over my ears, and I was kind of like the hippy-dippy weatherman, I just wasn't mature enough for Chicago at the time. What makes this area so great is it's so difficult to forecast the weather here. It's such a challenge. And when you take a look at something like accuracy, we're dealing with a public that understands weather. You go into some markets, and if weather's nasty, they just go inside, close the curtains, and wait for it to end, and we're done and on our way. But here, people go out. People snowmobile and ski. They're out in the summertime. They're camping, even when the weather's crazy. It's not only a place where forecasting is a challenge, but you get so much different weather here. The weather changes day to day, it changes month to month. We not only get all 4 seasons, but we get blizzards, we get severe thunderstorms, and occasional tornado. And some of our tornadoes are these little tiny things that just go down the street that it's so hard to spot before they're actually there. And then they're gone by the time you get on TV. So there are some real challenges here, and I think that's kept me mentally focused here over the years. You can't get in a lull here. I mean, something's going to just creep up, jump out of the closet, and get you weather-wise. I've given commencement addresses before, and one of the things that I talk about is there's 4 things about life. 4 things, that's all. 1 is to please God, 2 is to earn a living, 3 is to help other people, and 4 is to have fun. But I said, you know, the greatest thing in the world is when you can do more than one of those at the same time. If you can earn a living and have fun, if you can help other people and have fun. So, and that's where you take your enjoyment from. I like talking in average terms about weather. I mean, I can geek out if you want and, you know, talk about soundings and, you know, skits and stuff like that, but I want to talk about average people. I want to convey to them the excitement that I feel about the weather. And I've never lost that.
His passion, his enthusiasm for the weather, as we all know, kind of fueled mine, and I think that's really what contributed to me becoming a meteorologist later on.
We want to introduce you to a new team member, Bilal and Stefan.
Well, guys, I asked my bosses earlier in the week if I could go as my hero for trick-or-treating this year, and lo and behold, they said yes. So I might not have the experience of Bill Stefan, but I have a mustache, and I literally have one of Bill's coats. Bill, if you're watching, your wife actually gave this to me, which is fantastic.
I learned early on that the people that were still doing this when they got to be 60 years old were people that stayed in one place and established a rapport with the audience, that got out and did the school speeches, that helped out the charities. And that's a wonderful thing to do. I don't do that just because I want to win some points there. I really enjoy helping other people.
Our job is to make sure that people are getting the right information, because with social media, they see a lot of things coming at them. I think they turn to us to make sure that what they're seeing has been vetted. We have to make sure that that information is valid, that it's right, that it's accurate, that we can trust it, and then we'll present it, because we can't take that chance. You know, our credibility is on the line, and people look to us to make sure that we have already done that, and we do. I like the stories about people and what it's like in their town or what it's like in their community and what's important to them. It may not be the same as someone else 40 miles away, but we do have to reach everyone in our market and try and identify with all of our viewers. I have people that remember me from the other side of the state. I've been here 27 years, and they'll remember all kinds of stories, and I think it shows how much of a part of their life a news station and a news program can be. You don't think that far down the road, where am I going to be in 35 years? But I've been fortunate enough to be able to continue with that and enjoy those relationships with my coworkers as well as the community. And it's heartwarming to me to be able to still be a part of it, as well as reach out and keep those connections, because I think it's an important part of people's lives to see their local news. We are the reflection of what's going on in the community, and they look to us to give them that accurate information. And I'm just so proud to be a part of that in everyone's family life as well.